Says figure 1 shows the eyes. So let's look at this. Is when the eye changes from, let me use a pointer here so you can see what I'm saying. This is when the eye changes from focusing on a distant object to focusing on what is near. What does that mean? When you're looking at what is far away and now you're looking at something that is close by, what do you expect the eyes to look like, or what do you expect the lens? The question actually is going to be referring to the lens. So you have 4 options here. So pause the video, try to see what the answer is going to be, what you think the answer is going to be, then you play the video, because I'm going to just reveal the answer right about now, but try to first attempt the question, all right? Of course, I'll be explaining a bit more than just the question, as it were. Now, I took out time to label all of this. This is, I guess, you've guessed the answer, or you've gotten the answer. So this part, I'm saying this because this question is not just to give you answers and just go away. Because if the question does not come this exact way, you should still attempt it. So these are the different part of the eyes. You should endeavor to pause this and revise the structures there. But what I want to bring to your attention here is this. This lens is the one that changes in shape when we are, that's called accommodation. When you're looking at what is far away, it's going to become thin. When you're looking at what is close, it's going to become more swollen. And for that reason, the answer is this: the lens gets thicker to bend the light rays more. Because when you're looking at what is closer, the way I'm looking at this pen right now, if I look at this pen right now, in fact, if you look at it so close, if you bring the object so close, you will feel some sort of pain because you're not meant to. That means you're making the lens to budge. Please take note, it is the lens, not the eyeball. The whole thing is referring to the lens, please. All right, hope that made sense. Let's move on. Next question: give one reason why people who are short-sighted cannot see distant objects. So please remember this: short-sightedness is named after what the person can see. Like I told you, try to answer this question and see the answer here now. So let me explain. So it says give a reason. Now let me emphasize here: short-sightedness only is when you can see what is close. That's why it's called short-sighted. Please don't forget what I just said now. The person can see what is close, and long-sighted means they can see what is far. Usually students get confused when they start trying to remember it from the aspect of what they cannot see. Remember it from what you can see. What you can see is what is close. That's why it's called short-sightedness. But what they cannot see, what they cannot see is now what is far. All right. So, but I will just advise you to just stick to that. Now, having established that, let's look at this right now. 1 second. Now, okay. So it says the eyeball. This is because the eyeball is too long or big. Yeah. So for that reason, the image will be forming in front. So because there's going to be over. It's one marker, but I wrote 3 answers here. So this is because the eyeball is too long. There will be over refraction of the light rays. Image is formed in front of the retina or converge before the retina. Now look at this. Ordinarily speaking, where you see this pointer, that's where the images is meant to be formed. For example, now you are seeing me clearly on your screen, this whole screen, because the image is formed here. But if it's formed here or here, in front or behind, as the case may be, it will be blur. So people that are short-sighted, this way their image is formed. So it's going to be blur. So they need something to help them. Please look at this word here. It says over refraction. So their own, image, the ray of light converged early, prematurely. That's why the image is formed here. And that's because the eyeball is a bit longer, so to say. Hope that made sense. Let's move on. So we've given the reason, of which we gave 3 reasons. The next thing on the screen here says, states the lens that can be used to correct short-sightedness. So let's see the answer right here. So if somebody is having short-sightedness, what do they need to use? You need to use a concave or divergent lens, because the ray of light converges prematurely. So they need a lens that will spread it out. So this is a divergent lens. That you can see. This is the diagram what it looks like, and this is what divergent means to bend out. So it means to bend out so that it can be able to converge at the right place. All right, hope that made sense. Please remember to pause the video if this is a bit fast. I have to do that because of time. All right. Now it says here, a student, I'm here now, was given the hypothesis: people with brown eyes are more likely to be short-sighted than people with blue eyes. Devise a plan to test this hypothesis. So that means you want to do you want to be, this is a hypothesis is just a statement which can be true or false. So you want to prove it right or wrong. So let's see the answer here. So the first thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to choose the experimental groups. That means people you want to test. So you look for brown eye people, blue eye people of equal number, and preferably the same age range. I didn't write that here anyways, but this is enough. Mind you, every answer you are seeing here are model answer. Like model answer means what GCSE required. Maybe not GCSE, of course this is for GCSE examination, but this is the right marking scheme kind of answers. That's like a top-notch answer. That's what I'm trying to say right here. So if you write this in your exam, when you are asked such questions, there's nothing stopping you from getting the full mark attached to that question. So step 1, you choose the experimental group. Step 2, test both groups for myopia. So you're going to do something called visual acuity. I wrote that here. Visual acuity is a test you do whereby you have to stand in front of something to test. Usually you're going to start with one eye, to cover one eye. Then the person will ask you to be calling numbers of calling out letters you can see from a particular distance. That's a visual acuity test. So you're supposed to do that to find out from the blue eye people and the brown eye people. And the next thing you will do is compare the number of people with myopia, that is the people in the brown eye people versus people that are blue eye. So it says that if people with myopia are in the brown eyes, then the hypothesis is true. So if you have people that have more myopia, short-sightedness with the brown eyes, that means the hypothesis is true. But if you don't have that, that means it isn't true. It's just a fallacy, or it's just a guess. Moving on. Okay, next question says, obesity increases the risk of a person developing cardiovascular disease. Losing weight can reduce the risk of this disease occurring. Explain why exercise can cause weight loss. Yeah, we've all known that exercise is good for weight loss, but the question is, how does it even happen? Let's take a look at that right about now. So, exercise demands high energy. Please take note of the sequence of the way I wrote the answers, all right? Because that's one thing students you should learn in the exam. You don't just, there's a mark for sequentially arranging this logically, seriously. So it says here, the exercise demands high energy consumption, which is released by respiration. Now, this high energy consumption burns food storage like fat, thereby losing weight. So the person that, when you're exercising, the food the person has eaten will have been used. So the food, for the cells to stay alive, the metabolism demands that all the things that are stored also will be broken down. And that's why it is recommended that people should exercise to reduce fat buildup, so to say, or just energy buildup. Because even when you have eaten your carbohydrate, the excess one will still be converted even to fat, so to say. So that's the funny thing. All right. Next question. Now, figure 2 shows a gastric band fitted to a stomach. Okay. Explain how a gastric band helps a person to lose weight. Please remember to pause the video and play to see my answer. So this is the stomach. We can see that obviously. So now, how does this work? This will reduce the size or volume of the stomach. So since you have squeezed it, it has been squeezed here. So that means that the food that will come in will not be so much. So it says for this reason, the person gets satisfied on time, thereby reducing food intake. So the person will, it's like you're making the person not to eat as much as he or she will have eaten. But the person can, if he just decides to say, okay, I don't want to eat a lot, it may not be so easy to do that. But if with the gastric band, the person, by the time the stomach is filled up, you can't do anything anymore. So when the person has not eaten enough, which because the person has not eaten enough, because you have blocked the stomach partially, the cells of the body, in order for them to survive, they start breaking down stored fat. So that's the mechanism. The food is not really enough because you have blocked, or you have reduced the size of the stomach. Then for that reason, the person's stored stored fat and everything will be released to keep the person alive. Oh, sorry, I'm already going to the question. To the answer. So that explains that. Now, BMI, which means the basal metabolic index, and weight to hip ratio can be used to find out if a person is obese. Now, so we have this reading here. We have for person male A, this is the BMI, this is the waist to hip ratio, and this person's B, we don't know his BMI. So I guess we are going to be asked to calculate that. So let's see now. So male B this particular male B has a mass of 72 kg and height of 1.81. Remember that for you to calculate BMI, you need mass in kilogram, then height in meter square, or in meter, so to say. So we are going to, so the question is calculate BMI of male B. So you use this value. I'm going to show you that anyways to calculate for male B. Then give 3 significant figures. So let's do this. So here we are. So the person is, we were told that the person is 72 kg. So this 72 kg there. Then where are we coming? So you just input the value basically. So the value 72 kg 1 point. So we are just, so this is this is this. I hope that made sense. Welcome back, guys. So we move on to the next question. He says here that males with waist to hip ratio above 0.90 are defined to be abdominally. I mean the abdomen is obese. All right. Now, explain what the BMI and waist to hip ratio for male A shows about his weight. Now, this value, any value above this, means the person is abdominally obese. But so let's look at the man with A. So if you look at his waist to hip ratio, is just 0.85. So that's not up to the value given here. So attempt the question. So explain show about his weight distribution. Don't forget you comparing this with what he really has. Don't forget, anybody has above this is abdominally obese, but what he has is not up to that. So let's see the answer here, which I've written. So here, you can see me laying emphasis here. So this man, his BMI shows he is overweight, but according to his waist to hip ratio, he is still not abdominally obese. All right. So according to his BMI, of course, is overweight, but his waist to hip ratio shows that since it's not up to this, so it's not abdominally, from the word abdomen, obese, as it is below 0.9. Don't forget, I told you, always reflect your answer to something. What do I mean by that? Like, because of this, that's called logical linking. It's very important when you're writing. That gives mark to students. So his weight distribution is still on the hip to waist ratio, not yet on the essential organ in the abdomen. Yeah, because the truth is that the moment you don't have anybody that has when people are said to be abdominally obese, it means that the fat in their body is now, it has gone to a level where it's now in the abdomen, and that means it's going to be covering the likes of liver, some sort of organ, so to say. That's what he says. He says his waist distribution is still around the hip. It has not gotten to his essential organ in the abdomen. That's what that means, really. Because when he says someone is abdominally obese, it means that the person, in fact, it's also called central obesity, which means that the fat is accumulated around his abdomen. Right? Hope that makes sense. Next question. So this is a picture of 2 potato chips, and this is going to be testing you on osmosis, I guess. So now, okay, these are 2 chips, chip 1, chip 2. So these are their readings. So this is reading they have. each of these, of course. Okay, that is it. Calculate the total surface area of potato chip B, using the formula 2xy. So this is what you need to do. Well, I think this is simple because you're just meant to substitute these values in this equation, and that's it basically. So let's see how that is done. So if you do that here, oh, beautiful. So this is what I did here. So 2 multiplied by x. So x, this is x here, that's 5. So you just input this whole value there. If you do that very well, you should get this value here, and that's simple. But of course, we have other questions with this question. So moving on, please remember to always try to attempt the question first. Now it says here, the potato chip were placed in distilled water for 20 minutes. Please, if you don't understand the real meaning or definition of osmosis, please do check this YouTube channel. There's a video titled definition of osmosis. This is very important. Students, usually I give about 2 definitions there. Really, I will try to still talk about it briefly here, but because I'm not trying to make this video very long, I won't go in depth. So potato chips were placed in distilled water for 20 minutes. Then figure 7 shows the increase. So apparently, so it means that this guy sucked in water, because according to osmosis is the movement of water from area of low concentration to area of high concentration, basically. So that means that this low concentration means that that solution has lesser solute in it. That means it has lesser salt or lesser sugar. And this high concentration means it has more salt or more sugar. So you are moving water from where it is having lesser salt or sugar, generally we call it that solute, so where we have more sugar or salt, through a partially permeable membrane. Or you can say it's the diffusion of water from where water is more to where water is less. It means the same thing. Please do watch that video on osmosis if it's not clear enough. So, but the truth is that this guy was placed in a dilute solution, which is water. In fact, it's not even a solution, it's water. So water will be sucked in. That's why this side, the potato became bigger in size. So let's go down. So that is that. So So you're meant to explain why the potato has a greater increase in size. So it's basically osmosis. Then you're also supposed to refer to the surface area. Let's see the answer I've written here. So this is because potato B has a larger surface area. Good. Then hence it is more in contact with its environment, thereby absorbing more water, like I told you, really. And don't forget that this is about osmosis, and surface area to volume ratio talks about the more contact a cell has with its surrounding, the more it can interact. So potato chip is transferred from the distilled water, now good, into a concentrated salt solution. Explain what would happen to the cell in potato A. What it's trying to tell you is just explain what will happen to the cell, to the whole potato, because it says, once the one I was solving this in class, when you say cells, she feels like, yeah, you're just talking about what happens to the cell or to the whole potato, because each of the cells in the potato is affected. That's how the whole potato will be affected anyway. So it's just like, it's telling you what happens to the whole potato as it were. That's what it means. All right. So let's see the answer here. So the potato A will reduce further in size. Why? Because according to what I just told you, when you put that in what's it called, a concentrated solution, water will move out of it. Because I told you it's from water will move from area of what, low concentration to what, high concentration. So basically the surrounding here is more concentrated, so water will move from this inside, which is having low salt or sugar, in this instance salt, to area where you have high salt or sugar, because it says here, it says move into a concentrated salt solution. So as this will move, as water will move out by osmosis, that's called exosmosis. Whenever water goes out of a cell, then water moved from area of what, lower concentration, which is inside the potato chip, to area of high concentration, which is around, all right, the source solution. Or you can say water moved from area of high concentration of water in the potato. So if you want to say high concentration, you must say of water to area of low concentration of water, which is outside, so to say. Just the answers I've given you, I kept saying that these are model answer that if you write this in an exam with similar question, of course applied very well, you would get a full mark, like sincerely. The point written here is even sometimes more than what is required, and I did that on purpose. So the potatoes of a potato plant develop underground, okay? Explain one difference in the subcellular structures in a cell which is in a potato and in the cells which is in a leaf. Okay, so basically you have to compare the cell in the potato, like the potato tuber, that thing, and the leaf. So like you're comparing between root and the leaf, basically. That's what you're supposed to do here. So let's see the answer here. So cell in the potato has no chloroplast because why? Because this is because it is not exposed to sunlight. It's not, it doesn't need light to carry out photosynthesis. So that's the basic difference between, he said, one subcellular structure. Don't forget that. One subcellular structure. That means what is in the cell or what is not in the cell. So here it doesn't have, just like roots don't have chloroplast because they don't need to photosynthesize, so they don't need it, as it were. All right.